Hi guys, it's Sunny McKenna from Sunny M. Cardoso, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about 3 vintage toy lines that need to make a comeback. And these are toy lines that were a standout for their time but got lost in the past. I'm talking innovation, detail, and storytelling. And even though they were just action figures, they had their own worlds. And I didn't grow up in the 80s or the 90s, but I had the privilege of playing with my father's toys growing up, and he saved them for me. So he's been able to catch me up to speed on all of the history. So if you're a fan of 80s or 90s toys, or just like nostalgia from that era, then this video is going to be perfect for you. To get us started, I want you to comment down below what toy line from your childhood or from the 80s or 90s need to make a comeback. Before we get started, I did want to note the mask was originally on this lineup for this video. However, Loyal Subjects is re-releasing them, and I am so excited to see these action figures in person. And from what I can tell with the photos online, they look so true to the original. If not, they're using the same exact molds, and then the figures have just a little bit more detail. Starting off strong with number 1 is Exo Squad, and this is made by Playmates from 1993 to 1996. Exo Squad was definitely ahead of its time and probably one of my favorite vintage toy lines. So they use military style mechs called Exo frames, and they were highly detailed. And the pilot figures actually fit inside and had so much detailing and gear with them. If they could do this in the 90s, I can only imagine what they could do today. And for that time, there really wasn't a toy line like it. As you can tell, there's different types of mechs that they had. For example, this one right here, if we push in the front, you'll have the cockpit. I really love the size of this mech and just the ability to put your figures inside of it. I just love anytime that an action figure line has vehicles that you can use for them. And each of the mechs have their different play feature. And both of these actually fire missiles. I have the missiles in storage right now. Again, look how detailed these figures are. And the hands you can actually put around the handles. And then you can also take the figure out of it. So this right here is where the missile would shoot out, and then if you push the button in the back, the hand's gonna open for you. See, I just don't think they make figures like this anymore. Definitely ahead of its time for sure. All right, let's show you a couple more close up. I did have his hands in here, but they did pop out just a little bit. Missile does shoot out of the front of this. Like. Exo Squad was set in the late 21st century, and these were humans versus Neo-Sapiens. I just feel like if they were to re-release these, they could make the mech so much cooler with working LED lights or even robotics to make them move on their own. Really nice, vibrant paint jobs on these. Oh, and it looks like he got a little battle damage. One last note that I do have to mention is that I love when toy lines have TV shows or just different animated series, and it really makes you feel like you're a part of their universe. Exo Squad, I'm looking at you. Please make a comeback for these. Number 2 would be Visionaries, Knights of the Magical Light, and these are from 1987 and made by Hasbro. And these came out really in the height of the 80s for 80s toys. You know, you had Transformers, G.I. Joes, He-Man, and Thundercats. Visionaries is where sci-fi meets fantasy, and it's in a world where technology dies and magic lives. This also had a short-lived cartoon series and a comic line. Again, a toy line that was way ahead of its time. Look how cool these are. So each figure has a hologram on their chest, and then each of their staffs also have that. These kind of have removable helmets just like the mask toys. And him, he has a cheetah on the front of his hologram. Some of these figures didn't last the age of time. Looks a little rough on the front with the hologram, but that's okay. But again, this is another reason why I would love to see these be re-released, because you could do so much nicer technology, more modernized, and maybe even have it display an image that moves versus just holographic. The TV series only lasted 13 episodes, and I just wish it could have continued longer. It would have really evolved this toy line, and maybe we would have seen it go a little bit longer. And these figures have the O-rings just like the old G.I. Joes. Look how cool those animal totems are. If I'm being completely honest, I can't remember which one goes to which figure, but here we have a horse or a steed, and then him right here, he has the hawk on the front. These figures have pretty great articulation for the time and the size of them, just like G.I. Joes. And you wouldn't have good guys without bad guys. This is one of the bad guys. And he appears to have a dragon hologram on him. Let's be honest, sometimes the bad guys are just way cooler than the good guys. And the different factions were the Spectral Knights and the Darkling Lords. Again, across all the toy lines, you're gonna see those different accessories or vehicles the toys come with. Okay, we're gonna see a hologram on the side of it and on the top. This one has a battering ram on the side. The wheel goes. And if I'm being honest, if Hasbro is already redoing Ghostbusters and Power Rangers, this would be the perfect line to do so, especially with the resurgence of that fantasy feel. Number 3, Sectars. Warriors of Symbion, and these are made in 1985 by Coleco. Before we jump into it, I do want to note that the Nacelle company did do a re-release of these. However, I do not think it hit the mark. And the reason why is because if you compare the toys from the 80s to the current ones that just came out, the details just aren't the same. So I still feel like they need a redo. Again, the 80s had a lot of fun toys coming out. You had Transformers, Masters of the Universe, Voltron, and G.I. Joe. Oh, and you also had Mask. This is in the era where bigger is better, and these figures stand about 7 inches tall. So back in the day when they did stand on the toy shelf, they stood so much taller than other action figures compared to it. Again, Sectars, they are biotech warriors from the planet Symbion. Very highly detailed and stood the test of time, and their antennas are actually a little bit movable and bendable. And each Sectar had its own companion. I can't remember which companion goes with who, but this one is really cool and they have their own play feature. So this one, if we push right here, he is going to chomp. I don't have any of them, but some of the insect figures that they would come with were actually puppets. So you could put your hands inside and move around with them. The paint finish on these are so good. And they came with a good amount of accessories. Like this guy right here, his wings are so cute and it will flutter. They're very, very delicate and can easily break. I thoroughly enjoy the blue paint job on the figures. Unfortunately with this one, I can't remember what its play feature was. So if you're watching it and you remember, please comment it down below. And sadly, just like the others, this also had an animated series with only 5 episodes and it ended there. Again, I feel like if the TV series lasted a little bit longer, maybe we would have seen more of these toy lines. This one was pretty cool. So it had wings that attached and you would wear it like a backpack and he would fly him around. I had the most fun playing with this one growing up. I would actually use it in the bathtub, and the reason why is it has suction and it scoops up the water, sucks up the water, and you can squirt it out. Another thing I want to mention is they all have rubber harnesses, and none of them have gone broken or brittle after all of those years. So that is definitely an A+ for that detail. I really love the big presence that these have, especially in the 7-inch scale. And I would love to see them be redone within that scale, and then also have just a little bit better articulation. And there we have my list for 3 vintage toy lines that need to make a comeback. Please let me know in the comments if you agree with me on any of those, or if you think there's another toy line that I'm missing, another one that needs that resurgence. Also, if you've never heard of these toy lines before, I'm so happy that I could introduce it to you. And if you love retro toys like me, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications. But in the meantime, I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Bye.